We have our last reading today with the book of Judges. We have this judge named Jethro. And today, as I said, as always with judges, even these judges that rescue Israel, they're very flawed characters. Jethro was an outlaw, was abandoned. You know, that was kind of like his history before he was chosen by God. Has the tool, has the way through which God was once again going to deliver his people Israel. And again, God keeps delivering his people of Israel because he is faithful to his end of the covenant. You know, and that's the major word throughout these 6-7 weeks of the Old Testament readings that we had, starting with Genesis. That God wishes to establish a covenant. He's going to be faithful to the covenant, even when we're not. Again, it shows you just how special the new covenant that Jesus Christ is, because here we have one person who is not flawed, who is upholding his end of the covenant. And so once again, now Jethro is going to try to defeat the Amorites. Those are the enemies this time that God uses to punish Israel because of their lack of faithfulness to the covenant. And Jethro plays Let's Make a Deal. Okay, so have you ever seen that show there? Behind door number 1, Jethro says, if you deliver the Amorites into my hands, the next person or next thing that comes through that door, I will offer it to the Lord. And sure enough, when that happens, his daughter comes through, his only daughter. Now, here's the thing. You might think that we're referring to human sacrifice here, but not necessarily. I know it says that he will offer a burnt offering, but you have to understand, in regards to human beings in the Old Testament, a burnt offering, the way that was done was that you dedicated that person to the service of the temple. Okay, so, because again, the temple is where the sacrifice made, so you dedicate that person. Okay, so think of many examples. Samuel was an example dedicated to the service of the temple. That's probably the most famous one. But this is probably most likely what has happened, not necessarily human sacrifice. And the key phrase is later on in the passage. What does she mourn? Not her life, but her virginity. Okay, so notice the way that's phrased. She's mourning that virginity. It is so devastating to Jethro because, why? Well, now he doesn't have any descendants. His line has stopped because she was the only daughter that he has. Okay, so again, that was a big deal, especially in the Old Testament, a big deal to continue to live on through your descendants. That's why Abraham was so devastated and so mourning when he and his wife Sarah couldn't have any children. It was like, almost in a way, they viewed it as being cursed by God, almost, in a way, that their life, their legacy will discontinue because they have no descendants. And that's what happens with Jethro here. That's the mourning aspect of all this. And so again, at the end, it doesn't say that he sacrificed or anything like that, but just did what he has promised, what he has vowed to the Lord. So that's kind of, I would say that's probably what has happened here. Okay, in this situation. But the spiritual thing, and the thing that we can take home with us, where did Jethro go wrong in this? Well, Jethro only had to do one thing. He just had to ask the Lord for what he needs. He didn't have to do this, hey, if you do this, I'll do this for you. God doesn't need anything that we have. He just wants ourselves. He wants us to be faithful to the covenant. He wants God to be the God that's going to provide for us. Sometimes we do that too. I'm going to do this thing, I'll do this, that. If you, God, can do this for me, just ask him. That's all you got to do. He's a father that wants to provide everything for you. But again, we violate the covenant because we go to other things for our needs instead of to God. We rely on other worldly principalities and powers and all these other things. We seek the comforts of this world rather than on God himself. God is our Father. We don't have to bargain with him. He gives us what we need for the sake of our salvation. May God bless you.